good morning/afternoon/evening. Life is a battlefield, and in that battle, your greatest weapon is how you handle adversity. But here's a truth that most people don't want to hear. Nobody truly cares about your problems as much as you do. Life is unpredictable, full of challenges, obstacles, and setbacks. No one goes through it without experiencing difficulties, but the way we handle them determines the direction of our journey. The truth is, no one is responsible for solving your problems except you. The world does not owe you solutions, and no one is coming to rescue you. While it's natural to seek comfort, support, or advice from others, the ultimate responsibility for overcoming any struggle lies in your hands. Many people fall into the trap of believing that their hardships are someone else's burden to bear. They expect family, friends, or society to step in and make things easier. But here's the hard truth. No one cares about your problems as much as you do. Everyone has their own struggles, their own worries, their own battles to fight. This isn't to say that people won't offer sympathy or a listening ear, but at the end of the day, no one is going to be as committed to your growth and success as you should be. Blaming circumstances, other people, or even bad luck might feel justified, but it doesn't change anything. Complaining about how unfair life is will never bring a solution. The only thing that creates change is action. Your action. The moment you accept full ownership of your situation is the moment you take back your power. Excuses do nothing but prolong suffering. Solutions, on the other hand, come from stepping up, making a plan, and executing it. Think about the most successful people in any field. They weren't handed easy lives. Many of them faced rejection, failure, financial struggles, or personal tragedies. The difference between them and those who stay stuck in the same problems year after year is that they took full responsibility. Instead of waiting for someone to save them, they found a way forward. They didn't dwell on what was out of their control. They focused on what they could do, however small the first step was. Every challenge presents a choice. You can either let it define you, or you can rise above it. But rising above it requires effort, discipline, and persistence. No one else can put in that work for you. Even if someone helps you temporarily, if you don't take ownership of your own life, you will always end up back in the same place. True freedom comes from knowing that you have control over your own actions and decisions. It's easy to look for external solutions, to wish for luck or a miracle, but the strongest, most lasting solutions always come from within. The moment you realize that your problems are yours to solve, your mindset shifts. You stop feeling powerless. You start looking for ways to improve, to adapt, to grow. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what can I do to change this? That shift in thinking makes all the difference. Taking responsibility is not about guilt or self-blame. It's about recognizing that no matter how difficult things may be, you have the ability to make things better. Your circumstances do not define your potential unless you allow them to. The power to change, to overcome, to build a better life is entirely in your hands. The sooner you embrace that truth, the sooner you can move forward. Complaining is one of the easiest things to do. It requires no effort, no commitment, and no real responsibility. It's an emotional release that provides temporary relief, but it does absolutely nothing to change the situation. When things go wrong, when life feels unfair, or when challenges seem overwhelming, the natural instinct is to talk about it, to express frustration, to let out disappointment. And while venting may offer momentary comfort, it doesn't move the needle forward. The only thing that creates real change is action. People complain for different reasons. Some do it because they want sympathy, hoping that others will validate their struggles and make them feel understood. Others do it as a habit, unconsciously reinforcing a negative mindset that keeps them stuck. Then there are those who complain as a way of avoiding responsibility, shifting blame onto external factors instead of looking at what they can do differently. But regardless of the reason, the outcome is always the same. Nothing actually changes. Complaining keeps people trapped in a cycle of negativity. The more someone talks about what's wrong, the more their mind fixates on problems instead of solutions. It drains energy, lowers motivation, and reinforces a sense of helplessness. The mind adapts to whatever it is fed, and when it is constantly filled with complaints, it starts to believe that change is impossible. Over time, this mindset becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. A person who always complains becomes someone who rarely takes action because they have trained themselves to focus on obstacles rather than opportunities. Another major problem with complaining is that it repels people. While friends, family, or colleagues may initially listen, they will eventually get tired of hearing the same problems without seeing any effort to solve them. People respect those who take charge of their lives, not those who dwell on their difficulties. No one wants to be around someone who is always negative, and constant complaining can push away even the most supportive individuals. There is a difference between acknowledging a problem and complaining about it. Acknowledging means recognizing that something isn't right and then making a plan to fix it. Complaining, on the other hand, means focusing only on the frustration without taking any meaningful steps to change the situation. The most effective way to deal with a problem is to ask, what can I do about this? Instead of saying, this isn't fair, shift the mindset to, how can I make this better? That simple change in thinking can be the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. The reality is life is full of challenges. No one is immune to hardships, setbacks, or difficulties. But the people who thrive are the ones who take action. They don't waste time blaming others, wishing things were different, or endlessly talking about what's wrong. Instead, they put their energy into solutions. They focus on what they can control, and they take steps, big or small, toward progress. It's easy to complain, but it doesn't solve anything. It keeps people stagnant, powerless, and dependent on external factors to change their circumstances. The only way to break free from that cycle is to take responsibility and take action. Problems don't disappear by talking about them. They disappear when effort is applied to fix them. The sooner this truth is embraced, the sooner real progress begins. People will listen to your problems, nod their heads, and even offer a few words of sympathy. But the truth is, very few genuinely care. Not because they are heartless, but because they are too consumed with their own struggles. Everyone has their own battles to fight, their own challenges to overcome, and their own responsibilities to handle. While they may listen for a moment, they will quickly return to their own lives, leaving you with the same problems you started with. It's easy to believe that others will care as deeply about your struggles as you do, but the reality is different. People are naturally wired to focus on their own survival, their own growth, and their own priorities. This isn't selfishness, it's human nature. When you unload your burdens onto others, they may express concern, but rarely will they take action to solve your problems. That's because their mind is occupied with their own fears, worries, and ambitions. Some may pretend to care, offering comforting words or temporary encouragement, but few will genuinely invest time or energy into helping you. And even if they do, it is usually short-lived. Eventually, they will move on because your problems are not their priority. This is why relying on others for emotional support or solutions often leads to disappointment. Expecting people to fix your problems or guide you out of difficult situations only sets you up for frustration when they fail to meet your expectations. This doesn't mean that people are bad or that kindness doesn't exist. There are moments when someone may step in to help, offer advice, or provide temporary relief. But those moments are rare, and even when they happen, they do not replace the need for you to take control of your own life. No one will ever be as invested in your success or well-being as you are. The sooner you accept this, the stronger you become. There is also a hidden risk in sharing too much. Some people listen not out of concern, but out of curiosity. They may seem interested, but deep down they are collecting information, forming opinions, and sometimes even judging you. Others may use what you share against you later. Not everyone who listens has good intentions. This is why being selective about who you open up to is crucial. Not every ear is a safe space, and not every listener is a friend. Instead of looking for people to care, shift your focus to finding solutions. You don't need validation to take action. You don't need a support system to make progress. What you need is the discipline to solve your own problems. The world does not slow down for anyone's pain, and waiting for others to care will only delay your growth. At the end of the day, you are your own responsibility. The more you rely on others for emotional support or motivation, the more you give away your power. True strength comes from understanding that while people may listen, their focus will always return to their own lives. The only person who can truly change your situation is you. The moment you stop expecting others to care is the moment you free yourself to take full control of your own life. Vulnerability is a powerful thing. It is the willingness to open up, to share struggles, fears, and weaknesses. It is what creates deep connections, fosters trust, and builds meaningful relationships. But not everyone deserves access to your vulnerabilities. In a world where people have different motives, different levels of understanding, and different capacities for empathy, it is crucial to be selective about whom you confide in. Vulnerability should be earned, not given freely, because once shared, it cannot be taken back. Many people make the mistake of opening up too quickly, believing that honesty and transparency will always lead to deeper relationships. But the truth is, not everyone values vulnerability in the same way. Some will listen just to satisfy their curiosity, others will judge, and some may even use your words against you. This is why trust must be proven before vulnerability is shared. It is not about being closed off or secretive, but about protecting yourself from unnecessary harm. Trust is built over time through consistency, reliability, and demonstrated care. A person who genuinely values you will show it in their actions, not just in their words. They will respect your feelings, protect your privacy, and offer support without judgment. On the other hand, those who are careless with your struggles will show signs early on. They might dismiss your concerns, spread your personal stories, or fail to respect your emotions. Recognizing these signs is essential because once vulnerability is misused, it can lead to regret, betrayal, or emotional damage. There is also the risk of emotional exhaustion. Sharing struggles with the wrong people can drain energy rather than restore it. If someone lacks the emotional maturity to handle deep conversations, they might respond with indifference, bad advice, or even turn the conversation back to themselves. This can leave you feeling unheard, misunderstood, or worse, more burdened than before. Not everyone has the capacity to handle deep emotions, and that is okay. The key is to find those who do, rather than expecting everyone to be a safe space. Another reason to be selective with vulnerability is that it shapes the way people perceive you. While struggles are a natural part of life, constantly sharing them with the wrong audience can lead to being seen as weak, dependent, or overly emotional. The reality is that people respect strength. This does not mean hiding struggles completely, but rather choosing the right people and the right moments to share. A person who truly values you will not see your struggles as a burden, but as a part of your journey. The strongest relationships are built on mutual trust, and trust must be earned. Just as you would not hand over your most valuable possessions to a stranger, you should not hand over your deepest struggles to someone who has not proven their loyalty. Being cautious with vulnerability is not about building walls. It is about ensuring that when you do open up, it is with people who will treat your emotions with care. The right people will not only listen, but also support, uplift, and help you grow. What you focus on expands. Your mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you direct your attention to will grow in importance, intensity, and influence over your life. When you constantly talk about your problems, you give them power. You feed them energy, making them feel larger and more overwhelming than they actually are. Instead of finding solutions, you become trapped in a cycle of negativity, where the problems consume your thoughts, emotions, and actions. It is easy to fall into this trap. When something goes wrong, the natural reaction is to dwell on it, replay it in your mind, and talk about it repeatedly. You tell friends, family, or even strangers about how unfair, frustrating, or difficult the situation is. But with every conversation, you reinforce the problem's presence in your mind. You keep it alive, allowing it to take up more space in your mental and emotional energy. The more you focus on it, the more it shapes your reality. This is not just a psychological concept. It is a universal law of energy. Whatever you give attention to will grow. If you focus on negativity, it will multiply. If you focus on doubt, fear, and failure, those emotions will dominate your mindset. But the same principle applies to positive things. If you shift your focus to solutions, growth, and progress, you will find yourself moving toward better outcomes. The mind follows direction. If you tell it to focus on problems, it will find more problems. If you tell it to look for solutions, it will start seeing opportunities. Many people don't realize how much control they have over their energy. They think that problems control their thoughts, when in reality, it is their thoughts that control how problems affect them. Two people can experience the same setback, yet respond in completely different ways. One may dwell on the issue, talk about how unfair life is, and remain stuck. The other may acknowledge the setback, but immediately shift their focus to what can be done next. The difference between the two is not luck, it is focus. Shifting focus does not mean ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. It means choosing where to direct your energy. Instead of spending hours complaining about what went wrong, you can use that time to think of solutions. Instead of repeating a negative experience in your mind, you can train yourself to extract lessons from it and move forward. Every second spent talking about a problem is a second not spent solving it. There is also a cost to directing too much energy toward problems. It drains motivation, lowers confidence, and creates stress. The mind becomes exhausted from constantly processing negativity, leaving little room for creativity, productivity, or personal growth. Energy is limited, and if it is spent on what is wrong, there is less available for what is right. The most successful people understand this principle. They do not allow problems to dominate their thoughts. They acknowledge challenges, but quickly refocus on solutions. They know that whatever they choose to give energy to will define their reality. Not everyone who listens to your struggles is doing so with good intentions. While some people genuinely care, others are simply collecting information. They may seem supportive, nodding along as you share your challenges, but deep down, they don't want to see you succeed. In fact, some will use your struggles against you when the time is right. This is why it's critical to be mindful of whom you confide in. It's easy to assume that just because someone listens, they are on your side, but human nature is complex, and not everyone is rooting for you. Some people are driven by envy, insecurity, or their own hidden agendas. They may smile in your presence, but secretly hope for your downfall. When you openly share your challenges with the wrong people, you give them ammunition. The very words you speak in vulnerability may later be twisted, used to undermine you, or even spread as gossip. Jealousy plays a significant role in this dynamic. There are people who don't want to see you rise because your success reminds them of their own stagnation. Instead of using your progress as inspiration, they view it as a threat. If you express frustration, doubt, or failure, they silently celebrate, knowing that you are struggling just like they are. These individuals will never offer real solutions or encouragement because deep down, they don't want to see you win. There's also a category of people who enjoy control. They thrive on knowing personal details about others because it gives them power. When you confide in them, they may pretend to be supportive, but in reality, they are gathering information to manipulate situations to their advantage. They may subtly remind you of your weaknesses when it benefits them, or use what you've shared to question your abilities in front of others. This kind of person doesn't just exist in social circles, but also in workplaces, relationships, and even families. Being selective about whom you trust is not about being secretive or closed off. It's about protecting yourself. Not everyone deserves access to your struggles, your doubts, or your failures. Trust should be earned, not given freely. The right people will show consistency, loyalty, and a genuine interest in your well-being. They will encourage you, push you toward solutions, and respect your privacy. The wrong people, however, will either use your struggles as entertainment or leverage them for their own gain. One of the most powerful things you can do is observe how people react to your small wins. Those who truly support you will celebrate, even if your victory is minor. But those who secretly don't want to see you succeed will either downplay it, redirect the conversation, or offer backhanded compliments. This is a clear sign of who you should and shouldn't trust with your struggles. At the end of the day, your growth, success, and resilience should be guarded. Not everyone deserves access to your fears, your failures, or your ambitions. The fewer people who know your struggles, the fewer people who can use them against you. The world is not always kind, and wisdom lies in knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. It determines how you interpret events, respond to challenges, and navigate opportunities. Every thought you entertain shapes your reality, whether you realize it or not. If you focus on problems, you will always feel stuck, overwhelmed, and powerless. But if you shift your focus to solutions, you will start seeing possibilities, progress, and transformation. The way you think controls the way you live. When difficulties arise, most people instinctively focus on what's wrong. They analyze the problem repeatedly, talk about it with others, and allow it to consume their energy. But focusing on a problem does not change it, it only magnifies it. The more you dwell on obstacles, the bigger they seem. The mind adapts to whatever you feed it. If you constantly reinforce negativity, doubt, or fear, your brain will find more reasons to feel that way. You will start noticing more difficulties, interpreting situations as unfavorable, and convincing yourself that success is out of reach. On the other hand, when you shift your mindset towards solutions, your entire perspective changes. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What can I do about this?" Instead of feeling stuck, you feel empowered. The energy that was once spent on worry and frustration is now redirected toward progress. This shift in thinking doesn't eliminate challenges, but it changes how you approach them. Problems become stepping stones rather than roadblocks. People who succeed in life aren't those who never face struggles. They are the ones who train their minds to focus on overcoming them. They don't waste time complaining or blaming external circumstances. They take responsibility and look for ways to move forward. This mindset difference is what separates those who remain stagnant from those who grow. The key is in how you choose to respond. Science backs this up. Studies in neuroscience show that the brain has something called neuroplasticity, which means it can rewire itself based on repeated thoughts and behaviors. If you constantly focus on negativity, your brain strengthens those pathways, making it easier to default to pessimism. But if you consciously practice solution-based thinking, your brain adapts, making optimism and resilience your natural response. Over time, this shift rewires your entire reality. Your thoughts don't just stay in your head, they shape your actions. If you believe there is no solution, you won't look for one. If you believe you are capable, you will take action. Every great achievement begins in the mind. The most successful people in history all had one thing in common. They trained their minds to focus on possibilities, not limitations. They didn't let obstacles define them. Instead, they saw every setback as an opportunity to learn, adjust, and grow. Life will always present challenges, but you have the power to decide how they impact you. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you achieve. When you choose to focus on solutions instead of problems, your energy shifts, your confidence grows, and your life transforms. The way you think creates the world you live in. Silence is one of the most underrated forms of power. In a world where people are quick to share their struggles, frustrations, and ambitions, those who remain silent hold an undeniable advantage. Keeping your challenges private allows you to work on them without interference, outside judgment, or unnecessary distractions. The less you talk about your problems, the more energy you have to solve them. True strength is found in quiet perseverance, where actions speak louder than words. When you openly discuss your difficulties with others, you expose yourself to opinions, doubts, and even negativity. Not everyone will encourage you. Some will subtly discourage you, while others may use your struggles against you. Even well-meaning people might project their own fears onto your situation, making you question your own ability to overcome challenges. The more voices you allow into your process, the harder it becomes to hear your own intuition. Silence protects your mental clarity and keeps you focused on what truly matters, finding solutions and making progress. There is also great power in working behind the scenes. When you share your struggles, you invite unnecessary attention. Some will sympathize, but many will judge, criticize, or gossip. However, when you keep your challenges to yourself and work in the background, no one knows what to expect. You eliminate external pressure and avoid being influenced by the expectations of others. Instead of wasting time explaining yourself, you dedicate that time to improving your growth. Happens in private, not under a spotlight. The most successful people understand this. They do not announce every challenge they face. They quietly strategize, take action, and let the results do the talking. They do not seek validation for their struggles. because they know that the real victory is in overcoming them, not in discussing them. When you choose silence, you take control of your narrative. No one can define your journey because they don't know the details. You decide when, how, and if your progress is revealed. Keeping your challenges private also strengthens discipline. When you talk about what you're going through, it can create a false sense of accomplishment. The mind feels as if progress has been made simply because the issue has been acknowledged, but talking is not the same as doing. Silence forces you to channel your energy into action rather than words. Every step forward is real, not just spoken about. The less you talk, the more you do. Additionally, results are far more impactful than explanations. When you overcome a challenge, people notice without you having to say a word. Success speaks for itself. It commands respect and admiration in a way that talking never can. People are inspired by results, not complaints. When you choose to let your progress be seen rather than spoken, you naturally gain credibility and influence. In the end, silence is not about isolation or secrecy, it is about power and control. It allows you to focus, protects you from unnecessary negativity, and ensures that your energy is directed toward progress. Those who master the art of silence understand that the strongest moves are made quietly. Keep your challenges private, work on them diligently, and let your results speak for you. Success commands attention. When you achieve something great, people notice. They respect results, celebrate victories, and admire progress. But struggles, they don't carry the same weight. While it may feel good to vent frustrations or seek sympathy, the truth is that people rarely respect complaints. They respect resilience, persistence, and most importantly, outcomes. That is why struggles should be dealt with in silence, while success should be the only thing that makes noise. Many people make the mistake of talking too much about their difficulties. They share their setbacks, frustrations, and obstacles with anyone who will listen, believing that speaking about their struggles will earn them support or understanding. But in reality, constant complaints do not build respect, they diminish it. People may listen, but few truly care. Most are too focused on their own challenges to be invested in yours. Some may even use your struggles as a reason to doubt you, judge you, or spread negativity about you. Talking about struggles can also create an illusion of progress. When you discuss your problems, it may feel like you are taking action, but in reality, nothing changes. Words do not move you forward, actions do. Every moment spent explaining why things are difficult is a moment that could have been spent finding solutions. Success is built in silence, through hard work, discipline, and quiet perseverance. Complaints drain energy, while focused effort creates momentum. True respect comes from what you overcome, not from what you talk about overcoming. When people see results, they admire your strength. When they see you rise above challenges without making excuses, they respect your resilience. Success proves itself. It does not need to be explained. This is why the most accomplished individuals rarely dwell on their struggles. They understand that their energy is best spent on solving problems, not discussing them. There is also a psychological advantage to keeping struggles private. When you do not broadcast your difficulties, you remove unnecessary pressure. You work on your challenges without the weight of external opinions or expectations. If you fail, no one needs to know. If you struggle, it remains your battle to fight. This allows you to focus purely on progress rather than on managing how others perceive you. It is a position of power because you control the narrative. People see only what you choose to show. Another reality is that most people do not celebrate effort, they celebrate achievement. Struggles, no matter how intense, do not earn admiration. Success does. If you tell people you are working hard, they may acknowledge it briefly, but if you show them undeniable results, they respect you permanently. Results are what set people apart. The world remembers victories, not the battles fought in silence. Keeping struggles private does not mean ignoring them or pretending they do not exist. It simply means handling them with focus and discipline rather than broadcasting them for attention. The strongest people let their actions speak. They understand that success makes noise, but struggles should not. Let your victories do the talking, and you will earn the respect and recognition that words alone can never achieve. Silence is a powerful tool, and the way you handle your struggles determines how the world perceives you. Complaining does not bring solutions, action does. Your problems are your responsibility, and sharing them with the wrong people can do more harm than good. Most people are too consumed with their own lives to genuinely care, and some will even use your struggles against you. Vulnerability should be earned, not freely given, because not everyone wants to see you win. Your mindset shapes your reality, and where you direct your energy will determine your success. If you focus on problems, they will grow, but if you shift towards solutions, your life will transform. Keeping your challenges private allows you to work without distractions, interference, or external negativity. Struggles should be handled in silence because people respect results, not complaints. Success speaks for itself, and the strongest individuals understand that real power comes from letting victories do the talking.